Good morning. This is Mike Houston with your Friday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. Looking at the key points for this forecast period, we expect temperatures to remain cool through Saturday. We have a moderate snowfall event for the central and southeast mountains today, and that should be tapering off from west to east this evening. We are looking at mostly dry and warmer conditions on Sunday, followed by a potential rain on snow event at low and mid elevations on Monday. As we work into mid and latter part of next week, we are expecting much warmer temperatures. That will lead to our next round of elevated hydrologic activity, or flooding. Taking a look at satellite imagery, we do have a low-pressure system that's shearing south and east into the Idaho Panhandle. That's bringing snow into the central mountains and should be seeing that spread throughout the remainder of southeast Idaho later this morning. Looking at our weather risk outlook matrix of doom, here we are looking at today. We have some moderate impacts here across the southeast and eastern highlands due to that accumulating snow. Up towards the Sawtooth region, the snow accumulations will be a little lighter, so not quite as impactful. And then once you get out to the Magic Valley and southern hills, we do have we are expecting wind today, and we do have a wind advisory out for that region. We'll take a look at those highlights here in a minute, but let's get to the forecast charts here. Here we are looking at the storm track this morning with that low pressure system shearing south and east along the Continental Divide. That will bring us fairly mild temperatures today, generally running from the mid-40s to lower 50s in the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley, and in the upper 30s to lower 40s in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. With that storm system passing through the region, our median guess at what snowfall will be generally 1 to 4 inches here in the Sawtooth range. You get down here across the Southeast Highlands, we are looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches of snowfall across the region. And I'll show you those highlights in a minute. But if things did get sideways on us today, overperform, I guess is what some people might say, we could see anywhere from 3 to 7 inches here in the Sawtooth range, and certainly anywhere from 4 to 18 inches here in portions of the Bear River range at the end of this event. Only a 10% chance of this one over here happening, but it's still a possibility. With that precipitation moving through the region and the mild temperatures down in the lower elevations, we do have some snow melting or expectations today. Here in the Fairfield to Peekaboo region, we are looking at possibly a half to 3/4 of an inch of liquid equivalent precipitation out of all of this. If you get down here across the south central highlands from Pocatello down through Mackay towards Preston, a little lighter, generally 3 to 4/10 of liquid across that region. We do have a flood advisory out for the Franklin County area, so that won't be helpful. And here we are looking at our watches and warnings with all that going on. We do have a winter weather advisory here across the southeast highlands and south central highlands, where we're expecting accumulating snowfall to reach anywhere from 5 to 10 inches. And then across the Bear River Range, we have a winter storm warning where we're expecting more than 10 inches during the forecast period. The brown area indicates wind advisory, and that also extends across the south central highlands here. And then underneath all of this, we have in Franklin County, we have that flood advisory continuing in the Preston region. All right, advancing our storm track to Saturday, we see a ridge of high pressure beginning to develop along the coast out ahead of this next low pressure system. That will bring us slightly warmer temperatures during the day, highs generally in the upper 40s to mid 50s here in the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley, and generally in the 40s here in the Central Mountains, and upper 30s to mid 40s in the Southeast Highlands. Because we won't be seeing any precipitation during that time frame, the snowmelt for that period will be somewhat less, generally just melting snow at this point, not expecting to add any additional precipitation from a passing storm system. So no real headaches that we're looking at here for Saturday. Advancing to Sunday, that low pressure system now extending its way into the northwest coastal waters. We do have a shortwave ridge working through the region, so I do expect to see at least slightly warmer temperatures on the day on Sunday. And here we are looking at those temperatures generally running from the mid-50s to mid-60s within the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley, and upper 40s to lower 50s here in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. That low pressure system begins to shear south and east into the region on Monday. Although if we look at the operational models, there is a significant difference in the track of this low. We have one model taking this low south and east into northeast Nevada by Monday. Fairly strong low pressure system setting up here, which would bring us quite a bit of precipitation to southeast Idaho and slightly cooler temperatures. And then another set of models taking the low through the Panhandle and south and east along the Divide, which would bring us mild temperatures, windy conditions to southern Idaho, and some precipitation. Here's a look at those models. It's like a flip of the coin. 50% of the models showing that deeper solution that I was indicating here a minute ago, and then 50% of the model space indicating a shallower, weaker system pushing through the region. So things still uncertain for that Monday time frame, and we'll have to continue to watch to see what kind of rain and snow levels we have for that incoming system. Here we are looking at the median and 90th percentile snowfall from it. So on average, not a whole lot of snow here expected with that system, primarily because it may still be warm and it may be north of the region coming down along the Divide. And if the storm passes to our south and west, here we are looking at the 90th percentile. Things could get a little sideways on us with some fairly decent accumulating snowfall in the Central Mountains and Eastern Highlands. The one area that I am concerned about is the amount of liquid precipitation that we could see from that. With the storms passing to our, generally coming in from the north and west, we could see lighter precipitation, liquid precipitation amounts, generally running in the teens to a quarter of an inch across the region. If that storm system were to pass south and west into Nevada, we could be looking upwards of a half to 1 inch of precipitation in some of our mountainous areas. So wouldn't want to see that, and any of that being in the form of liquid on our snow. That could cause us some pretty significant issues. I think the one thing that we do need to look at is the temperatures as we get out into the middle and latter half of the week, as this high pressure ridge builds along the coast and then begins to migrate inland. I think this is somewhat a certainty that we will see warming temperatures over the latter half of next week. Here we are looking at Thursday with that ridge building along the coast. High temperatures on Thursday are expected to run in the 60s throughout the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley, and mid-50s to lower 60s in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. That's going to help to generate some snowmelt, folks. We advanced the storm track out to Friday. Most of the models are showing that ridge axis spreading inland, so I would expect temperatures to be warmer. We do have some crazy-looking operational runs this morning, though. They were bringing a low-pressure system over the top of that ridge and carving out a deep low-pressure system here across Montana with a backdoor cold front spilling over the Divide into Idaho. So some crazy stuff to look at late in the period. That might even spell cooler temperatures. So on average, our max temperatures for Friday generally running in the 60s to lower 70s here in the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley. Mid-50s to lower 60s in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands. But if we were to look at the spread between those solutions, if things got sideways warm, we could be into the 80s here down in the eastern Magic Valley and 70s in the Central Mountains and Southeast Highlands, which would really bring on the melting. And if those low-pressure systems developed across Montana and that backdoor cold front were to develop, we could be back into the upper 40s and mid-50s here within the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley. So that would be helpful in quelling any issues with potential flooding. So lots to look at as we work our way through the next week. In summary, we have temperatures remain cool through Saturday. We do have a moderate snowfall event expected today for the central and southeast mountains, and that stuff should be tapering off from west to east this evening. We do have highlights out for that across the southeast mountains and southern highlands. In addition to that, we also have some wind advisories out for the eastern Magic Valley. Things get a little dry here and warmer on Sunday, followed by a potential rain on snow event at low and mid elevations on Monday. Lots of uncertainty associated with that rain on snow event, so continue to watch for that. And then we get into some much warmer temperatures Tuesday into Thursday as a ridge of high pressure develops across the region, which may spark our next round of elevated hydrologic activity or flooding. That's a lot this morning. If you had any comments or questions, please go ahead and give me a call at the number on the screen. That's all I had. Thank you.